everybody. It is your afternoon host, Racquel Goldy here, and I am on Skype with Anabel Englund. What's up, girl? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. I'm as sane as I can be, and, just hanging in there.
Where are you? Where in the world are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, specifically Echo Park, and, what about you? You're in Miami, right?
Here in Miami. So it's honestly crazy that we're, doing these Skype interviews, but we figured because Music Week was canceled and we're not getting the content that we hoped, and we still want to talk to everyone and keep everyone sane, we're going to do these Skype interviews. So thank you so much for hopping on with me.
Yeah, of course. And I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but that's my dog snoring, so he can be really loud.
I love it. What kind of pup do you have?
He's like a King Corso Pitbull mix, we think. So he's big, very big.
That's why his snores are loud, but it's okay. At least you have a pup to keep you, preoccupied.
I'm so grateful. Yeah, I'm so grateful, honestly.
It's
You hear
crazy.
that?
Yes. I love it. We have two station dogs, but they're not here. Otherwise, they'd be like literally in the Skype call because they love the camera. So
that's so sweet.
We'll have to get them in a Skype call soon when they're chill. But okay, we got to discuss new single, See the Sky. I've been obviously on Twitter and everything, kind of prepping for the interview, and it's had really great reviews so far. So what was the process of making the single?
So it all started by my really good friend Matt Ossentjuk sending me like a little Instagram video, like something that he was working on, and I was like, oh my god, it was one of those tracks where I had a melody and just a thought instantly behind it. And I was like, you have to send me that. Like, I have a really good idea for it. And he was like, well, I'm in bed now. Like, it was really just a loop. And I was like, I don't care. Like, get out of bed and send it to me right now. And so he did. And it was really inspired by, like, that song Body Rocks. I think it's, like, early 2000s maybe. I don't know exactly when it came out, but it was kind of a while ago. And anyway, the lyrics just flew out of me. It was one of those tracks, and the melody, and I really just wanted to write about I wanted to write about the idea of freedom, and I wanted to write about like a perfect world if we weren't held back by fear, by family trauma, by the cycles that we get wrapped into. And like in the beginning, I said, where would you go if you could fly? Would you see your mom and your pa, give them a big hug? And like someone was like, I think you should change that lyric because, it's a little personal, and people, might not have a good relationship with their mom and dad. So it could kind of bring them to a bad memory. But the whole thing for me is, my upbringing wasn't perfect. And the idea of a perfect family, of having that mother figure, of having that father figure, that's the ideal person, right? It's kind of just viewing everyone as their most highest perfect self. So it's kind of like, if I could fly, I would go see these people that love me like as a daughter, and I love them as a mother and a father, and just kind of flying through the world free. And I just felt like the world needed to hear it. And at first I was like, I don't know, it sucks like that music is coming out at this time, like no one can really, I can't perform it out. Like I had 4 shows in Miami, like Thursday to Sunday, and I was so excited to like sing all my new tracks, and I was like, this fucking sucks. But
it sucks so badly.
Yeah, but I mean, the bright side is it could be a really healing song for people in this time. It could also like be a stamp for if people are listening to the song a lot during this time, it can remind them of the hope that they got during this time. So I don't know. We'll see. I do think that there's like an ultimate plan, and I don't know what it is, and I'm completely powerless over it, and I just have to like let it go and just be here. That's all you can do.
No, be home. I know. It's one of those things. Well, first of all, the song I think is definitely something that people are going to connect to, whether they've had a similar upbringing. Like,
I just need to wake him up because his snoring is really making me distracted. Okay.
I mean, I kind of love that this is how the Skype interviews are, though, because it's like so like organic and just like everyone's chilling in their house like everybody else, so it works. But I think your song is definitely something that people are going to relate to, whether they've had, you know, a perfect upbringing or not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the number one thing that's going to make people connect, especially right now. There's not really much people are doing except for watching Netflix and listening to music. So it's kind of worked out perfectly for you for a release like this, because I agree with you. I'm one of those people that, you know, everything happens for a reason. The universe is doing something for some reason, whether we know it or not. And I think that really just great things are going to happen after all of this goes down.
Yeah, I feel it too. And I don't know when all of this is going to be over, but like today I finally had the thought of like, this isn't permanent and it is going to be over at some point. And sure, something might like this can happen again, but at some point we are all going to be like out and about, and this isn't forever. You know, because sometimes we tend to think of like when we're in a bad situation, it's like, well, this is how it's going to be forever for the rest of my life. And we forget that there's always going to be a bright side and we will always get out of it. So that's kind of how my mindset today in this moment. So.
Right. I feel like for me as well, I've been kind of thinking that also, because normally I feel like I'd normally be freaking out, but for whatever reason, it is keeping me sane to just be like, okay, it's going to end. Like, this isn't forever. Like, countries who were, you know, this was happening beforehand, like, it's slowing down. So we're going to eventually get back to normal life. You're eventually going to be able to perform your shows, and they're going to be 3,000 probably times more epic than they were going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And just the gratitude too, because it's easy to get, at least for me, it's been easy to kind of get used to the pattern, going to the airport, getting ready, doing all of that, and like, oh, I have to fly again. You know, it's easy to get into like the stinking thinking or whatever. And recently I'm like, well, I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to do that, and not that I'm ever not, but when you get used to the routine, everything kind of becomes like flatlined in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, you get into your rut and you just like, it's just normal life for you.
Yeah, and you don't realize that there could be a time in your lifetime where you're gonna have to be like not able to go out to dinner or go get the things you want from the grocery store because everyone's taken it all, and you know, things like that. So just to be grateful. So
yeah, we've been definitely very blessed to, you know, work in the industry we work in. And I think it is something that I was talking to Loud Luxury yesterday, and they were saying the same thing about being very grateful and just kind of thinking about your life and all the great things that have happened and what you've overcome. And I feel like that's what a lot is going to be happening if it's not already. And great music's going to come from it. Like I've been saying, I think that everyone's shows or anything that's happening after this is over is just going to be like a whole new experience, and it's going to be so creative, and everyone's just going to be so welcoming towards each other. I don't know. I think it's going to really like snap us out of the technology phone, bury your head in your phone situation that we're in.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's been like, normally my screen time can be maybe 2 to 3 hours a day on a good day, and like now that I've been home, it's kind of like, okay, it's screens all the time, so it's like a conscious effort to not be on it. So I really hope that getting out of it, we're not so used to like being on the screen that we forget about how to be in contact with real people. But
yeah, hopefully we get out of that. But okay, so we love MK here at the station, and I know he's had a very big role in your career. So what do you think has helped most with working with MK for you?
I just think how down he is to just be friendly, and like he's just a great person. You know, he is so successful and he hasn't let anything get to his head. He doesn't have like a huge ego. He is always available to talk, to text. Like if you need a question answered from him, he answers literally right away. He's so reachable. A lot of people aren't like that. And so it's very genuine and nice to have someone as down to earth as he is. And yeah, he's super talented too. One of the things I was going to talk about is like future project. Is that another question for later, or can I talk about it now?
Yeah, we can like totally go right into the future questions or the future music. Let's do it. The collabs.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, because I'm signed to his label Area 10 through Ultra Records, it's bound to happen that I'm gonna have a new collaboration with him sometime soon. Definitely after like the chaos of all of this is over, but we have a very amazing track that like I cannot wait to release and for everyone to hear and to perform. It's amazing. So I think it's truly one of my best yet. So I'm so excited about that.
Ooh, that's so exciting. See, we have that to look forward to after this whole mess. It's perfect.
Yeah, we have a lot. I mean, this year has been crazy because I have really been working so hard like the past 5 years. I mean, I've been doing my shows, but it takes a while to kind of curate, like getting a statue from the marble. It's been taking a while for me to figure out what that looks like, what Anabel Englund looks like to me. And I have just been putting out all this music recently, and I have so much more coming. Like, it's crazy. This is just a whole new chapter, a whole new side of myself, my career, that I've never seen this side before. So I'm excited to see what's to come, just so much. So
I was gonna say, you've been pumping out new music like nobody's business. So
yeah.
I can only imagine what's going on right now. You being stuck at home. What's the first thing you kind of come up with? Do you come up with the lyrics, or do you kind of come up with the melody, or it just doesn't? Sometimes you literally just like look at your plant behind you and you're like inspired.
Yeah. When I hear music, it's easy for me to write a melody. And then usually the way I write is like, I either have an idea in my head of what song I want to write about. Like, I'll have a song title and then I'll write it about that. But a lot of the times, if I have a melody, I start kind of just letting the words come out of me with the melody. And then it's almost like a little gift from God, so you would say, or like a gift from the universe of like my higher self or subconscious that's trying to get something else out. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I kind of just let something else guide me and guide the words through me. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. Actually, I was listening to a podcast, Andy Grammer's podcast. He was talking with Dean Lewis, and they had this whole discussion about that, and it's so interesting to see how different songwriters like think that their gift and where their gift comes from. It's very interesting, and that totally makes sense. And it has to come out somehow. You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly. And I like having ideas, but I also I try not to think about it. Like, if I'm going to a session, I'm not like, okay, like I'm writing with someone I've never written with before. Like, I need to like be the best, and I need to think about what I'm going to write about. It is best when you just kind of flow, go in, hang out with the person, and just let things ooze out. And it's been good so far.
Do you ever get writer's block though?
Well, the thing is, if I'm writing with just myself and I'm on the piano, it's hard for me to just write a song, because it's self-discipline, really, for one. And also, it's just so much nicer to write with a co-writer, because someone's like, oh, that sounds good, or, oh, like, you should kind of tweak that verse. Like, in my own head, I'm like, I don't know if that sounds as good as it can be, but I don't have any other options. So I'm like, I guess I'm not going to finish this today. So I love writing with co-writers, because sometimes like I'm fire that day and someone else is kind of, adding their 2 cents, or sometimes like the other way around, like someone's fire and then I'm like, okay, that sounds good. Like, yeah, let's add these things. So no matter what, when you're writing with someone else that you connect with, I'm able to really get something, at least that I think is good. And I don't think things that aren't useful are still helpful, because the more useless songs that you end up writing, then soon enough comes the hit.
For sure, the hit. So what's a piece of advice you would give to a singer or songwriter that's watching this interview that's like, oh, I'm so inspired, I just want to do what she does, I want to work with the top producers and DJs, because you definitely have a very specific niche of what you do.
Yeah.
So what is something you would, you know, give people watching this right now that want to do what you do?
I would just say to figure out exactly who you want to work with. And like for me, I knew who I loved and looked up to, and I just made it a point in my life to find them and to like work with them. And it flowed that way. And I feel like it was divine intervention or something, because I don't feel like the way things worked out for me happens with everybody. I had no ties at all to anyone, or, you know, so it all was done by my will and some other thing. And, you know, but I knew, like, I was listening to other house music or whatever with someone singing on it, and I was like, okay, I was, you know, maybe like 17 or 18, and I was like, okay, I know I could do this way better. And I was like, that was my mentality. Like, I know what I have to offer. I know what I have to bring. And if I'm just met with the right people, I know that I'm going to succeed. So I think it's just getting to know yourself, getting to know what you want, getting to know your strengths. It's all about self-knowledge. And then through knowing yourself, you're able to pursue, you know, others. And then they can also believe in you through that. So
I love that. I love that so much. And obviously, you know, all this coronavirus craziness is going on right now. So what is something you want to tell your fans? Hopefully, like, you'll see them soon.
Yeah. Something I want to tell my fans is just try not to stress. Just take things one day at a time, and like literally one day at a time. And if one day at a time is too much, just take it 10 minutes at a time, one episode at a time, one little daily meditation at a time. And to know that like this isn't going to always be like this, so take this opportunity to relax and enjoy. And it's scary because there's an uncertainty, but this will be over at some point. So, you know, enjoy this while it lasts. It's not going to last forever. And I was going to say that. And I was also going to say it really helps having a morning routine. I've heard this other places, but I've also started really implementing this. And before you look at your phone in the morning, it's really good to kind of maybe write a few things down you're grateful for, write a mantra or an affirmation for the day, and, you know, and then get into like the screen time. But it's good to kind of like center yourself in the morning, set an intention, and then flow with the rest.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell you, this has been one of my favorite interviews, and I've been doing this for like 6 years. This is just
really,
I love it. Yes, it's so good. I go to LA all the time, so I'm definitely like have that LA girl in me for sure. So
yeah.
Well, I loved this interview. It's so much fun. Hopefully we get to interview like in real life sometimes.
I know. Me too. And maybe, hey, like it was supposed to work out this way, but I'll see you in Miami at some point, right?
Yes, for sure. It's gonna happen. We're gonna have the most epic interview party. It'll be great.
Let's do it with all the dogs.
Oh, with all the puppies. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Anabel. It's been so great.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right. Well, I will see you soon.
Okay. Bye.